Sure.
Yeah.
Je m'appelle Tim.
It's bonsoir after 6
bonsoir,
p.m.
Je m'appelle Tim. Je suis avec Johnny Fadul.
There you go.
We're doing that because welcome back from Paris, Johnny. Excited to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. Got an awesome stuff to talk about. I'm wearing a Dallas Maverick jersey just for you. You called it right here a few weeks ago that the Dallas Mavericks were going to be the sleeper team.
I feel like we have to look it up. I swear to you, they might have been the 9 or 10 seed when I said it. I'm not positive.
They were at least below 6.
Okay. Yeah. So playing. They were a playing team.
And then
dude.
So you called it. So I
yeah,
think we start there, right?
All right. Let's do it. So we'll start with the Mavs. Luka's a psycho. Derek Lively's a psycho.
I mean, the plus minus between him and Gafford was just ridiculous in that series. It was like Derek Lively's in, they make a run. Gafford's in, the other team makes a run.
Yeah. I mean, so you could see why, like, I was in love with them from the get-go.
Yeah.
For you have the superstar power, they guard.
Yeah.
And they guard at a high level. I feel like they're never out of it. Dude, they're so good. Like, their series was so fun to watch because, like, it was home and road didn't feel like it mattered.
Nope.
I don't know what happens in this next series, but I feel like last night I was saying over and over with that Wolves Nuggets game that I felt like we're watching Game 7 of the finals. I just think whoever wins
ran out of gas because they burned him out.
I just think whoever wins, I mean, this upcoming series is going to be like. I think we're going to disagree maybe a little bit, but I think the West is going to take the cake.
The team I want to win. I want whoever comes out of the West. But I don't know because it's hard to write off Boston. Now Boston hasn't really gone through much adversity this postseason. They beat Miami. They beat us in 5. The is Indiana really going to challenge them? I don't know. But, like, if you're the Boston Celtics, all the pressure in the world is on you.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You have to get it done
for
year.
sure. And they're not. I don't think they will. Like, I really don't think they will. All right, here's a fun question. So we're starting with the Mavs. If the Mavs get it done and they win it all, where does it put Luka in the NBA ranks right now?
All time?
No, right now, of current players. Like, is he the best player in the league over Jokic, or is he second? Is he third?
I would put him just a hair behind Jokic.
Okay, and
that's because Jokic is 3-time MVP.
I agree with you.
Like, just a hair.
I agree with you. What if the Timberwolves get it done? Where does it put Anthony Edwards?
Top 5.
So
for sure, you could even make a better case of him number 1.
I think Anthony Edwards is already top 5.
Okay, I mean he's got that Jordan Kobe killer.
He does
instinct.
Though. Like,
he wants to destroy you.
And dude, yesterday was he'd have to do something crazy for me to not be like a lifelong Anthony Edwards fan because he's everything I want in a player. 1 of 10 at halftime, and if you only watch the second half of that game,
maybe I did.
Yeah, I mean, seriously though, like, so perfect example.
I mean,
you watch just the second half, I said the words Michael Jordan like 4 times yesterday, and I thought he played subpar. Like, he had a subpar game. For him, 6 of 24. I mean, he was like turning it over in the first half. He was not assertive at all, and then he flips a switch, and nobody wants to stay in front.
I love the play at the end of the third quarter where Murray is coming off a screen on Jokic, and Edwards just rips him and goes in for a dunk.
Yeah,
and it just it kind of like really buoyed that run they were going.
I'm going to tell you what I love most about him. That is one of my huge LeBron criticisms all the time.
Okay,
the entire about 2. Now, I understand this is how they got their lead. They were throwing doubles at Anthony Edwards all game. Mm-hmm. But in that last 15 minutes, he didn't give a shit where your double team was, where it was coming from, what he was doing with it. He's splitting it. He's going around it. He's shooting over it. He's going through it. Like, that's what you do in those moments to take it out of other people's hands. Like,
not only Jordan-esque, but like that also kind of reminded me of 2006 NBA Finals, Dwayne Wade. He didn't care what double team was coming. He would use the other guy on the double as the screen against the primary defender. So I really you hit the nail on the head. Like
he sees it early in the
care,
play. He sees where it's coming from. If you're going to sprint at me full speed and I'm going to be Anthony Edwards with the ball in my right hand moving full speed, try to stay in front of me. Like it's not going to work. And then they helped off Jaden McDaniels twice in that corner. He just makes the easy play. And that I wanted to give them like all their props. The Wolves, Naz Reid, we said this too when we said the dark horse thing. I think my other team, we got to go back, was the Wolves.
I mean, we don't have to go back,
but I was saying the most overlooked one seed in the history of basketball. Or they were the one seed at the time. They ended up at 2. But those top 6 guys, if they are Rudy Gobert fouled out with 2:30 left in the game.
Just put Townsend.
They were like, let's bring in Cat. I was dying. It was an upgrade. Like you literally
Gobert played a really good game.
He played his best game he could play.
That fadeaway.
He could play the best game he could play. Well, that's when we knew the game was over. Yeah. If Gobert's hitting that. And I think that put them up by 4. Like there's nowhere to go. There's literally 0.5 on the clock. He hits MJ stuff. It's nuts. Naz Reid is a dog. I feel like he's never going to miss a 3 when he shoots it, but he does other stuff too. He moves like a guard sometimes.
Yep. Mike Conley making sure everyone's in the right spot.
Mike Conley, and Jokic said it after the game. I'm going to say it, I agree. Most underrated player in the NBA. And then what else? You got McDaniels. You got Nick Alexander.
But
you got Lang.
The stunt McDaniels tried to do at the end of the game. That
was crazy. That was wild. I forgot about that. No, that was nuts.
I watched that replay
that was nuts.
I laughed.
That was
so
Ricky Davis-esque. But I mean, that was crazy. Like you don't do that, especially like you're on the champion's home
Game
court.
7.
That was crazy. So they have length, dude. They're just and they're not scared of anything. Like they were down 3-2, like playing the champs and
losing 3 straight.
Losing 3 straight.
2 on your own home court.
Yeah, and Jokic showing why he's the best player in the world in all of them. And then you just motherfuck them in game 6. And then game 7 is like, I don't know if you put 100 diehard basketball fans watching that first half. I don't know if one of them says they're going to come back and win this game.
Probably not.
So that's crazy. So a lot of fun stuff there. That series is going to be so dope. Do you want to go to the East, or do you have more to say?
Let's go. Let's start with the Indiana Pacers.
All right.
You know, they beat the Knicks in 7. They win a game 7 in New York. Brunson gets hurt, fractures his hand. But they keep fighting.
The Brunson thing had nothing to do with the series,
right? But I mean,
it was over.
They kept on. Knicks have battled a lot of injuries this year. I'm not going to make too many excuses.
But I think they win the series whether he go. I mean, I think they were down 15 when he hurt his hand. But so I'll agree with you on all that. So my thing about the Pacers, I think they're beating the Celtics. It's crazy. I think they're going to the finals.
There might be riots.
Here's my rationale. First off, I'm saying that assuming like what they're saying that Porzingis is not playing in game 1, not playing in game 2.
Okay, so what are the odds he plays game 3 or game 4?
So my thing is like, all right, so he's going to be questionable for game 3. So he literally might miss 3 games. All right. If he's missing game 1 and 2, I think the Pacers are splitting there. I think their pace is going to be kind of a shock to Boston, at least in one of those games. I think their offense is going to blow up. Halliburton has that it factor. Now you're not going to have Spike Lee motivating you on the sideline, but like he showed a little bit of.
You're going to have a lot of angry Boston people who are going to be saying some not so nice words to you.
Yeah.
That are going to be just as much motivation.
Facts. Boston, to me, I understand that they've won these 2 series pretty handedly,
but hot knife through butter kind of deal.
I just don't. They have not been tested. I get alarmed if I'm a Celtics fan.
The offensive stagnation.
Offensive stagnation is crazy, and it's like when they're up 10 in games, like in the playoffs,
they just take their foot off the gas.
Take their foot off the gas. How are they so bad when Derek White has a bad game? That's my thing. Is like. He just does way too much. They rely on him way too much. And then there are way too many games where I think Jaylen Brown might be better than Jason Tatum. I'm not saying that he's better than Jason Tatum, but I'm just saying Jason Tatum's not that dude to me to where.
It's like you have 2 Robins and not a Batman and a Robin.
I feel that way. Great call. So I completely agree with that. Now I think Porzingis puts a completely different dynamic into the series. He stretches
Yeah.
it. He can protect the basket a little more. There's way less Luke Cornett out there. But like
I'm
that,
sorry. Do you get annoyed when Luke Cornett jumps when he's like 20 feet away?
I get annoyed when Luke Cornett checks into the game and has any type
Okay.
of impact
Hey,
against a team I'm rooting
former
for.
Cavalier Luke
I
Cornett.
know, but it's nuts, dude. Watching Luke Cornett. But so let me hear
All right.
your thoughts on him.
Boston's offensive stagnation is the biggest issue. They got away with it against the Cavaliers just because, Jared Allen was out. Mitchell missed a couple of games. I don't know if you can get away with that with a healthy Indiana Pacers squad. They're long, they're athletic. We talk about Halliburton. You got an NBA champion, Pascal Siakam, who has been here before.
And he looked insane in Game
Yes.
7.
You know,
Now part of that was OG being hurt.
yeah, but he is the most accomplished player in this series. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he can go get it done.
That's wild. That's a great call.
Now, I think there's going to be a ridiculous amount of pressure on Boston. Do they come up to the challenge? Maybe. They have to win this. If they lose this, you can make a case that they need to blow it up.
I know.
And Missoula gets fired no matter what.
Yeah.
I just don't get when I watch them play. Jason Tatum, he shoots so much from 18 feet and out. Get your butt in the post.
Yeah.
You don't have Porzingis to feed it. Al Horford's not playing down
And he draws
low.
Fouls. He knows how
Yeah.
to draw fouls. Yeah.
Get your butt down there.
Yep.
Play through you inside, and then you could kick it out to White and Brown. But he doesn't want to play that way.
Yeah.
So I do think the Pacers have a shot. I think the Celtics do win this in 6 or 7, but I do think they lose to whoever wins in the West. And I think it's going to be Minnesota, but I've been wrong about everything. So, NBA.
One of my deciding factors in that series is big man play. If Miles Turner plays the way that he just did, that's another reason.
Yeah.
I also am the anti-Al Horford guy. You already saw the peak of Al Horford in the 2024 playoffs.
Yes.
So it's not happening again. So if KP doesn't come back, I mean, you're relying way too much on a slow Cornette, Al Horford. I see them putting Hauser out there. Is that his name? Hauser?
Yeah, Sam Hauser.
Sam Hauser out there,
just Pritchard off the bench too.
Because they're gonna have to put in some guys that can move a little bit.
Yeah.
The Pacers are legit picking up full. They'll cause 5 to 7 turnovers a game in the back.
Smith, there's
Yeah.
length out there.
Yeah,
TJ McConnell's even playing well.
Playing amazing. I mean, he's playing amazing.
Yeah.
TJ McConnell is playing Matthew Dellavedova basketball right now.
A little bit more offensively.
He is doing it, which is Delly dropped 20 in a finals game, bro. Let's calm down.
Delly signed a restricted free agent contract, and LeBron tweeted 2 minutes later, "Good luck, buddy."
Yeah, he did. But so the Pacers are just they're feeling it. So
Yeah.
I just think they're on the up and up, and Boston is kind of getting away with having the best possible matchups that you could have right now.
Yep.
The only team that had better matchups than Boston is Cleveland. So do we want to go right into that?
Well, I was going to give you a trivia question.
Okay, give me a trivia question.
All right. This is one my one buddy, Mike, texted me today. Since 2001-2002 season, there have been 4 Eastern Conference teams to not make the Eastern Conference Finals. Can you name them? 4.
What's the year?
Since 01-02 season.
Yeah, off top, that's very hard. Wizards.
Chuck.
Because the Pistons made it.
Yep.
And then Pacers.
No.
Oh, Reggie Miller.
The teams that faced
choke?
LeBron,
They made the finals?
Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, Eastern Conference Finals. Man.
There's one obvious one, and then 2 that are make sense, but you're like, huh?
The Bulls?
No.
No, they made it. Jeez. I'm trying to go through divisions, and I'm just blanking on
Think of a team in the South. For one of the obvious ones.
Orlando.
No, Dwight Howard era.
Jesus, dude.
They beat us.
Well, it's not Orlando, and it's not Miami.
Still South.
Well, I'm just
They
blanking on the
changed the
teams.
mascots.
I'm just blanking on the team. Charlotte.
That's 2.
And then,
These 2 are bigger cities.
dude, why can't I think of the teams in the
Trust
East right
the-
now?
Trust the process.
Oh, my, no way.
Yeah. They did. Philly has not made an Eastern Conference final.
Yeah. Okay, so that one's I wouldn't have guessed Philly. I don't know.
And then
why.
there's another big city.
The Knicks.
Yeah, those are the
That's
four.
nuts.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's a good
those are
one.
the four. Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. So yeah, let's get into the
That
Cavs.
shows you how shitty I am at trivia.
It
I'm
was-
so bad.
So
That's hard.
When my friend
Like,
texted me, I got Washington and Charlotte right away.
yeah,
And then I guessed Chicago too. And then I guessed Philly and New
Yeah.
York. No, but let's get to the Cavs. Disappointing, losing 5.
there's just so much to unpack. Like, let's start at the Magic series, okay?
They win in
'Cause
7.
They win in 7. Nobody's really happy after that series.
We're more relieved.
It takes a Donovan Mitchell. At the time, it was the biggest Game 7 comeback in NBA history.
Yes.
Before last night.
Yeah.
It literally was. So you take your superstar's super performance and the biggest moment of the game. His experience clearly mattered.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody else's did. And you lose that series if Donovan Mitchell's not a part of your team, obviously.
Right.
But what bothered me is the whole like organizational approach of we talked about this in a pod. We got to the play-in game, and now we got to the first round, and now we're in the second round, and look at our improvement.
I think there are major changes.
Yeah, well, there has to be, because what is going to change to move your needle 4 games when that team was missing their other big 3 guys? So don't give me this
Yep.
Jared Allen BS. And let's not forget that you might lose the first round in 5 games if you didn't tank the
Yep.
second half of your
Of the
Hornets
Yep.
game, and you would have been matched out with Indy.
And you would probably lost.
And you would have been exposed with the speed, the length, the shot.
Now we
make.
do match up okay against Indy.
We do when we're healthy and they're getting to the rack. But like this Indy squad and our team that just like you trotting George Niang out there for the first 5 games and taking turns with, they didn't know what to do. You had lineups out there to start second quarters that blew my mind in some of those games. And like you'd go down 9-0 in a minute.
You're
and
like,
a half.
where's the offense coming from?
Like you'd literally sit Garland and Mitchell, and Allen's already out, and like your best player on the court is Mobley, and then you're playing him with like sometimes 2 G Leaguers.
Yeah.
Like truly. So there's just, I don't know where to start. Like I feel like we've already talked about so much with it.
I think we start with where do we go from here? And I think there's
You think it starts with coach?
I think he's gone.
Okay.
I think
When do they make that decision if he's gone? Because I feel like it'd have to be in the next 3 days.
in the next probably week or 2. I think they admire.
The Suns
the
hired
team-
a head coach already.
Yeah, but I don't want him.
I do.
I,
Why? Because he's the 1 seed every year. Is that a bad thing?
because he had Giannis and
now he's gonna. They're gonna say, "Oh, because he has Kevin Durant." Like that's.
I mean they mismanaged having Dante DiVincenzo. Like he could have been a really good piece for them.
Maybe. I don't know how much of that is your head coach's call, but also he didn't have Giannis for the game that ended up losing that series for them, which ended up making him lose his job.
I want
Who do you
JJ
want?
Redick.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna. I like JJ Redick.
Okay, I
but
want
I'm
JJ
not gonna-
Redick. That's who I want. I want a younger coach
You want a first-time coach?
because I also think
Oh my god.
I think there's a legitimate shot LeBron James comes back to Cleveland.
I do too. I know.
And here's why.
How long are we gonna talk about this?
Give me 3 minutes.
Why can't we just trade Garland and Allen for Kevin Durant and get it over with and just have a
Because,
championship contender?
The Suns owner and Dan Gilbert hate each other.
I forgot about
They
that.
really hate each other.
No, it's like a real thing.
It's
Like
a-
they had a meeting like before the playoffs, and there was some kind of vote. Did you see this?
Yeah, and we abstained or something.
But we were the only people, and clearly the reason was
because
because
Dan Gilbert doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's not happening.
okay, yeah, no.
LeBron. If you're LeBron, you can't win out west. You've already can't get through Denver.
Why? You're the best player of quote. You're
It's
the
his
best player of all time. Why can't you go out?
His team.
Why? Why? Anthony Davis isn't enough. Like why? Like what?
Look, he's out. They already proved they can't get through Denver.
Okay.
They're not going to get through Minnesota.
No.
They're probably not even going to get through OKC, and they probably can't get through Dallas. And they would have to
Agreed.
go through 2 of those teams to get to the finals.
I agree. Yeah.
So he
no,
has to
that's-
come back east.
like,
He has to.
It's crazy
So he
that he
can
comes
do
to
the
our
load
freaking game and like,
Oh,
and the last 2 times he did it, he went to those teams.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Was it L.A. or was it Miami?
It was when he was with Miami and he came back for Z's retirement in 2014.
But then Was he? Because they said 2 instances.
Oh,
So when he was in Cleveland, he either went to
to
a
LA
Miami
or
game
Miami.
or a
Yeah, but
an
we're on the
LA
other
game.
side of it now.
Oh
So it's
yeah,
cool.
sweet. Yeah, so now it's cool.
So he can't win out west. We know that. We both agree on that. He can't win out.
You do know that even if you go east, you still have to play the team in the west that wins. And now we're
only-
back to the whole.
But only
But he made the
once.
finals 10 times in a
But
row.
only one of those teams. I also think he's gonna opt out, and I don't think he takes a mid-level.
How do you know he's going to opt out? Is this a public rumor? Like,
I've read that multiple areas that he is planning on opting out.
all right.
So he opts out.
If he opts out, it feels real.
I don't think he signs for a mid-level exception. That's not what he's going to do. But I think some combination of you trade Jared Allen,
Garland.
Strus or Okoro, and LeVert to LA to bring LeBron in. I think Garland goes in a separate trade. I think Garland goes to either like a New Orleans. I could even see Garland going to Minnesota.
You feel like the money. I don't think Minnesota's doing shit, but you feel.
Minnesota has some luxury tax issues coming up in a year or two. So that could be a motivation.
I
for
don't
them.
know if they care. If this is their squad, they're going to luxury tax the
We'll
shit
see
out.
how deep Alex Rodriguez's pockets are.
Yeah. He was hyped.
He was hyped.
He was going crazy. Everything you're saying makes sense. I don't
But it
want to
does
go.
start with Donovan Mitchell.
I don't want to go down that road yet.
Does he stay or does he go? Okay, sorry.
I think I don't know why I believe this, but I do think Mitchell stays.
I have a really good feeling about it.
Yeah, it's weird because everything when the last guy left, I thought he should stay, and everything's telling me that if I was Donovan Mitchell, why would you stay? So it's like weird how that's working.
Also, if you're Donovan Mitchell, where are you going to go? You're
He
not
can
going to
go
New York,
places.
but they can't sign you. But any place you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, he could go to a contender though. Like he could go to a.
The only one
He could go to.
LeBron's coming here.
But you see my point. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean, he could go to Phoenix. He could go. No, he can't because of the
No.
ownership. There's places he can go. He can go to fucking Minnesota. I'm sure they would like him. But I think it starts with Donovan Mitchell extends. Once he extends,
Or if he says no, because what I've read is it gets resolved one way or another this summer. So he either extends or he gets traded.
okay. So
We know. We're going to know this summer.
which means we're probably going to know in the next month,
Probably.
which is pretty cool.
You probably know sometime after the draft.
And we're probably going to know the coaching stuff before 2 episodes from now.
Probably.
So let's say Donovan stays. That triggers you immediately to
By
this.
Garland.
This isn't working. Yeah. So
And I love Darius
for me,
Garland.
it's not just Garland.
It's Allen.
It's the whole 2 bigs thing.
Yep.
To me, it was great when you had the 2 bigs with Laurie.
Because he could shoot.
Because one can extend it,
Mhm.
one can kind of extend it, and now you have 3 monsters, and 2 of them are usually around the basket, so you're constantly protecting.
I
the
think
rim.
for Mobley's development, you have to have him be the 5.
How good did Mobley just look?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he looked like he was doing everything
Baby
Jared.
KG.
Yeah, dude, he looked incredible. He looked confident. I don't know how much of it you can like put on a coach for like not developing a guy for 3. Like he's playing the cards that he has dealt. I'm talking about
Right.
JB. I'm trying to defend him a little bit. Like if Jared Allen's performing, like you play Jared Allen with
Right.
him. If he's not, like you don't. But you're going to build this team around Mobley and Mitchell is your
Right.
goal if you restart this thing. Now the issue is you should be able to parallel like getting rid of an Allen's stock might never be higher than it is right now.
Because this contract's only $20 million.
Garland's stock's obviously very low.
Low, but I think there are teams that will be interested. I think one team I look at is New Orleans.
What's the reason?
They need a guard. They need a true lead guard.
That's why I kept saying Phoenix is because that's how I felt about Phoenix.
I don't think because I don't know if they'd give us Beal for him or
I don't want Beal. So
you
fine.
want Durant.
It's Durant or like you're not giving.
I mean,
They're
it's
not
not
going to give up
happening.
Booker.
They hate each other.
Yeah,
They
I
always
know.
hate each other. But
But
like
I would want
New Orleans comes to mind because I think you could do a swap where you
Ingram.
either Garland for Ingram straight up or some combination of Garland for Herb Jones and maybe like a CJ McCollum, get an older
Trey
vet
Murphy.
back. I think Murphy's untouchable. From what I've read, they view Murphy and Zion as like their building blocks.
I get it.
So I think you get Ingram. I think you get like a Herb Jones. I think that makes sense. You could also make an argument, trade to the San Antonio Spurs. You could bring in like Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sokan, or Zach Collins in the deal. Or they're what number
Keldon
8 pick?
Johnson.
Yeah.
But they I got asked would I trade Darius Garland for Keldon Johnson.
You said no.
I actually said no.
Yeah.
And like I do decently like Keldon Johnson, but I think Garland's worth more. I also think this was Garland's worst season since he was a rookie.
His value is still like his value is not nothing.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Is we don't want to get into like talking Darius Garland trade talk and just like we're taking this series that just occurred and just going to base it off that. Like he's still, if we were basing Darius Garland off the year before or 2 years before, we're probably sitting up here saying you're an idiot. Why would you trade
Right.
Darius Garland? So he's still got a little bit of that factor in him to where it's like, I don't look at it as like a negative. He's getting $40 million a year for the next 3-4 years. Is it part of it? Yes.
Because he's on the lower max. He's not on the like super max.
duper. Yeah. So,
I mean, but
those two would be gone. But then it's like this is what that does. Okay. Mitchell can play with the ball more. The others matter now.
I think you see Craig Porter Jr. play a lot.
I think you see Craig Porter Jr. I think Merrill's like role actually like matters,
especially
a little
LeBron.
More. Of course, Merrill's like the LeBron perfect fit.
Of course, and I also think a guy who would play a lot more, who probably starts, depending on who you get, Dean Wade.
Well, like the Dean Wade, but even like the guys that like were quote unquote haters on, but like the Niangs, the Dean Wades, the Merrills, the Craig Porters, the Leverts, the Okoros.
I think Levert's gone too.
I hope Okoro's not gone. He's the one.
I think Okoro stays.
I hope so because I think you can't overlook defense.
No.
But my point to all of that is when you know where the offense is flowing from, and with that group, it's going to be Mitchell, Mobley, and then maybe a third guy that you get in one of these trades.
From Akron, 6'8".
But like right now, like they were like, dude, is the offense running? Are we going to try to hit Mobley in the mid post? Are we going to give a horn set with Garland?
Yeah.
Are we going to do a horn set with Mitchell? Every time one of them are in the set, the other one's just sitting there and for some reason like refuse to catch and shoot threes. So it's just not working. I mean, it's not working. And you had the path of heaven this year. You played the worst team to get into the playoffs. Yep. You snuck out of it on a miracle. And then you played the team where I'm not on this wagon of, oh, but if Jared Allen played, like I thought Boston was beatable every game that I watched that series. I got pissed off because it's just that excuse.
Well, I thought
like, you're not going to beat Boston.
I thought when Mitchell got hurt, it was kind of
that. Yeah, I know. But I'm saying like, so you're down 2-1. First off, you should have won game 3, but like us even competing in that game 5 shows you like that Boston team is just beatable. Like
because they just dribble the ball and shoot an 18-footer.
So the Cavs need an overhaul. We both agree. Like
Allen and Garland are gone.
I mean, is the goal to do what they just did because they could do that every year, or is it win a championship?
No, the goal is to win a championship. And I think if you haven't noticed, Dan Gilbert's starting to get a little more vocal. You saw he tweeted. You saw he was at the game.
Yeah.
What's happening in Cleveland? Like what's happening? Like him being a little more vocal. They announced the new practice facility downtown.
Weird,
it's going to be really nice. I think number 23 has one more run in Cleveland, and he's going to come back for 2 years and then retire. And I think we do draft Bronny in the process, but that could be a different conversation.
We would draft him. I mean,
and it might be better for Bronny to come to Cleveland.
We
drafted no matter what.
We drafted Isaiah Mobley as a favor to Evan. I'm pretty sure we're going to draft. But I mean, I don't know. Let's make that.
I just want it on record in case it happens.
Well, it probably I know you've been saying it for 3 months. It's on record. It's on record. Anything else? I feel like we're missing NBA stuff just because a million things happen, but like we're gonna miss some things.
I mean, a lot will be determined when we get to the draft. I think I know we briefly mentioned it, but the Spurs are going to be really interesting offseason, how they build around Victor. Are they going to use that pick to take someone? Or are they going to trade it? I think their offseason is going to be really interesting because they got a lot of overlapping talent with Keldon Johnson, Devin Vessel.
I think they're going to make the playoffs next year.
Okay, I can see that.
I think that they're they knew that they were just kind of tanking and trying to get one more lottery dude, and I think they're just it's gonna be easy for them. He's insane. Wemby's insane. Real quick while we're on it. So if you were picking, can you do this off the top of your head? No order, but it's easy for me. I'll say it first. I got asked my current top 5 players right now in the NBA.
This since I haven't done my research.
Jokic,
Oh, NBA. I thought you meant in the draft.
No,
Okay,
NBA.
yeah, I can do it.
Jokic. There's one person I'm going to leave out who I'm going to put at 6, which he's in my top 5. Like,
Okay.
but you're going to know. But it's going to be Jokic, Embiid. I had Ant, Luca, and there was an obvious 5th. Steph was my 6. Um,
Not Jason Tatum. I know
it's
that.
not Tatum. Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and
Okay.
Giannis. So that's like my top 5 in no order right now.
I'd go Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, and yeah, Luca. I mean, the other argument I could make is for SGA in there.
He was
He would be like in that 6 to 10 range.
Yep.
I'm not putting Tatum top 5.
When I was doing it, it was interesting because I was really going on and then I extended the top 10.
Yeah.
And I kind of have like this top 8 and then kind of a gap. And in my top 8, my other 2 guys are I got Steph, SGA, and Wemby. Because I think Wemby's leap is going to be insane. I think he's going to be
I mean, he's going to probably hit the weight room all summer.
He's going to be so good.
Yeah. And he could and for a rookie, he shot the ball pretty well.
He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year next
every
year,
year.
too.
That's every year.
It's not fair.
He's 7'2". His wingspan's the size of the studio.
It's insane. So NBA, it's starting this week. We'll probably have 3 games in each series. I'm gonna say the Pacers will be at worst down 2-1.
Okay.
And then what do we got in the East
or in
the West?
Dallas,
and then dude, that series is gonna be so fun.
I think that goes to 7.
I'm gonna say the Wolves go up 2-1 if there's 3 games.
I think Boston wins in the East. I think Minnie wins in the West.
Okay. I'm gonna go Pacers, Minnie.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go Minnie wins it all. And I think it propels Anthony Edwards into this different tier of
Jordan
player.
potential.
Well, that's like if you're gonna start these comparisons with everybody else when they're that age, if he wins a ship
He's
at 22, clearly the best player on his team in Minnesota, where it's an easy argument.
And you have to give Minnesota management credit. They got heavily criticized bringing in Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
they gave up 5 first-round picks. Okay, maybe that was still a little too much. But
nothing's too much.
But it works. You have Gobert down low, Cat because he can shoot.
Yeah.
And then it's built around with Anthony Edwards. I mean, it's great defensively. It works offensively.
Nas Reed,
one
Jaden
of those McDaniels,
guys.
Mike Conley,
Alexander Walker.
Yeah, it's just a very well built team. So they got criticized heavily. So they're just gonna tell everyone to eat crap after they win it.
So that's good, man. Good NBA talk.
Good NBA talk. Baseball.
Yeah.
2 topics. So remember when we were doing our picks for our
yeah.
Do you see who is leading the MLB in stolen bases?
I haven't.
Ellie De La Cruz.
But it was that big of a.
He was plus 850 on the betting odds.
Okay, then that's great. Good job.
He's on pace for over 100 steals. But we'll see. We'll check back on that in a month or 2. But we're gonna give a quick shout out to our Cleveland Guardians, 31-17, first place in the AL Central. And this team's fun. They're weird, but they're fun. The big thing is the strength of that bullpen. They get a lead after 5, it's over. Like, they can go Clase in the 9th. You have Scott Barlow, Gaddis, Kate Smith. Nick Sandlin's been the jack of all trades out of there. It's a lot of fun right now in Cleveland.
Do I even throw in the devil's advocate comments?
Go for it.
All right. Strength of schedule. I saw they were like 26 or 27.
I mean, you're playing the AL Central. It's going to be low anyway.
So that's one. And then the other thing is, have we not seen this story before, though? Dominate, take care of this weak division. And then, it's.
I mean, yeah, I'd want to see a little bit from some other guys offensively. Tyler Freeman is actually starting to play a lot better. He had a 4-hit game the other night. I think you're going to need either a Kyle Manzardo to start really getting hot, or a Bo Naylor, or Rocchio. But, Stephen Kwan comes back in 2 weeks. Your top, 4 or 5 with, Kwan,
it's never
Jimenez,
them. But it's never them.
Jose,
it's always
Naylor.
The other guys. It's always you play the Yankees, and their 9-hitter could be
your 4-hitter. Yeah, I get it. But you don't have to go. I mean, The only team that really scares me right now is the Yankees.
I feel like, what about starting pitching? Like, you feel confident
Hope
with
they
it?
stay
Like,
healthy, but like the starting pitching has been a
the
lot better
Bieber
over the
thing
last
pisses
2
you off
weeks.
even more, doesn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause
but Bybee pitched 7 innings, 1 run ball yesterday. McKenzie's pitch count, they're starting to let him go a little bit more. He's been pitching really well. The guy who started tonight, I don't know if it's a fluke. I don't know what to make of
I
it, but
saw.
Ben Lively, he
I
has an
know.
ERA of 2.84. I don't know what voodoo trick they did, but they did something.
They've always been like that. They just pull starting pitchers out of
And
their ass.
and,
Like,
and Logan Allen looked good. And I think for the rotation, the big boy, Gavin Williams, still needs to make his season debut. He should be back in about 3 weeks
that's
or a
nuts.
month. You
That
get
would be
Gavin
sweet.
Williams
Yeah.
back and that 98-mile-an-hour fastball, then you go in the playoffs with Williams, Bybee, McKenzie, and that
How
bullpen.
many games in are we? 50?
They're 48.
48. I'm not trying to dimmer the
No,
excitement.
you hate baseball.
But when we get to game 81,
We'll talk at the 81 game mark.
because it like is a little more real.
And,
Like,
and you're only a game and a half up on the division. The Royals are really hot behind you. But if you look at it, you're 6-7 games up on a playoff spot. Like,
yeah. Well, once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, right? And that's all
Right.
that really matters. But
And one thing is their run differential is second in the AL behind the Yankees. So it's not like they're winning a bunch of one-run games.
Yeah.
They're winning
sometimes
games.
that's not a bad thing.
No, but
yeah, but
they're
it's
winning
even more
games.
decisive.
Yeah.
No, I like it. You want to do some golf?
Yeah.
There's only one thing to really talk.
Scottie Scheffler
Well,
getting
two
a-
things. So Xander wins a PGA Championship,
Congrats,
and it was
Xander,
dope. And he hit a birdie to win it. Like, Bryson tied him on the 17th hole, and then he hits his birdie. So it's pretty dope. But dude, like, so I get a text from Haywood in the morning, like, what's going on with Scottie is insane. I go to my phone, and I like literally the first. Do we call it X or Twitter now? So we're on X, and no joke.
You see the mugshot.
I didn't see the mugshot.
Okay.
I immediately get the video. I click this video. I don't know whose video this is, and it's just pitch black out, and this dude is handcuffed walking away. There's a cop wearing that like neon shit, and the guy's like you could tell that it's a media guy, and he's basically just trying to be like, yo, like, that's Scottie, but like trying not to be like, yo, like, don't arrest him because it's Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, yo,
Hey,
like,
you might want to
hey,
know that's
like,
the best
yeah, like,
golfer in the world.
but he doesn't even like really say it. The cop just goes over straight to the camera, and he's just like, yo, it doesn't matter. He's going to jail, and there's nothing you can do about it right now. And then he's just like, you need to step back. And then he's like, yeah, okay, like, I'll step back, but like, this is about to be like the #1 story in the world. Like, that was nuts how that all went down. But I really didn't know what happened until like 2-3 hours later. Like, I was like, did he do something? And then it kind of got like a consensus of like, okay, like, Scottie didn't kill anybody.
No,
Like, but like, there was a point where I thought like, I can't believe Scottie killed.
Well, he tried to go
Scottie
around.
Scheffler killed a
The
guy.
cops was told not to, but he thought he could because PJ cars were supposed to be
Yeah.
allowed to go through, and then he didn't stop when he was told to.
They said he dragged the cop though on a car.
it's not good.
I don't think that's like accurate though. Like, then this other thing was like, no, like, that didn't happen. Like, but so I had a friend that was down there that went to Valhalla. So
It might be the last major of that course.
so
Yes.
it was Saturday night, and I messaged my friend. I'm like, yo, like, what a crazy one to go to. Like, I wish I joined you, that kind of stuff. He's like, you are so lucky you're not here. He's like, this has been a shit show. He's like, there's one road to get into this place. Nobody knows what to do. It's chaos. Something I was listening to this morning said that what basically happened is the accident happened. So they have like the people who, that place has ran a lot of majors before. So they have like a system, and they
Isn't it like a Jack Nicklaus golf course?
yeah. So they have people that work there that like know the routine. But this accident happened, and they brought all like the whole city of cops, and those cops had no idea what was going on. So they're out here like ticketing people and arresting people, and they just don't care. But I was just
And he
like,
still shot what,
he
66?
shot a 66, and then
Yeah.
the adrenaline. I think the next day we were actually laughing watching the presser because they were just like, I felt like they asked him the same question like 8 times, like, are you like rattled? And he's like, well, I'm confused. He's like, I don't know what's going on. He's like, I don't know where I am. Like, he just kept saying, I'm confused. Like, I don't know what's going on. I stretched in the jail cell this morning. Like, just stuff like that. But
Yeah, because he had a 10:08 tee time. Like, he had an early tee time.
I really believe it. Like, I think he wins if that whole thing doesn't.
Oh, and I
happen.
bet the books like FanDuel and DraftKings are like,
Oh yeah,
yes,
they're
like-
ecstatic. They're ecstatic. But it's nuts because that was the third day was his only bad day.
Yeah, and it was the day after that happened. Yeah.
But it like kind of makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, absurd thing. It's like probably I don't know how many bigger things are going to happen in golf this year. Think about it in an NBA perspective, okay? Let's say they were about to play a finals game in the bubble.
And Jordan got arrested, or LeBron.
Yeah,
got arrested,
LeBron,
yeah.
Jordan, Luca, like one of the
Oh,
huge.
They
like-
food poisoned Jordan before a game.
Right. But that's what I'm saying though, is like it wasn't like they were like TJ McConnell gets arrested trying to.
No, yeah.
They were like,
It's like the
LeBron,
biggest name, yeah.
like, it's
Anthony
just like-
Edwards gets like,
yeah, exactly. So what an absurd thing. I don't know.
Well, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Scottie ends up winning the next two, and then he ends up not getting a Grand Slam because of this. And
So
then it
what
looks
do you
like
think he's winning the? Well, it's now
it's
called the Open, and then
then is it the Players? No,
Yeah.
that's the first one.
we had Masters and PGA Championship.
Masters, PGA, the Open. Haywood would be rolling in his
U.S. Open.
U.S.
Yeah.
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 I always get confused because of the U.S. in tennis.
Well,
too.
3 of them play in the United States.
Yeah.
You have the Masters, which is okay, same course. PGA and U.S. Open,
Yeah.
like kind of same thing.
Yeah.
The Open is its own animal over there
Yeah.
across the pond. But Johnny, glad you're back.
Yeah.
Missed this.
I wish we did a Paris episode. Actually, no, I don't because
No,
it was such a blast, dude.
You know, you needed to get away with your family.
Paris is if we did that. Do you remember that question?
What?
3 places outside of the U.S.
Yeah, with Paris.
Was it outside of the U.S.?
No, it was one had to be outside the U.S.
Okay.
And you picked
Paris would be in my top 3,
Okay.
like regardless.
All right.
And I also sent people to your. I actually need to find out if they went. I sent people to Elmo's in Indianapolis. Is that what it is?
Yeah, St. Elmo's.
Yes, they were in Indianapolis for a concert, and I told them that we literally went back and watched our episode, and then I was like, "You
St.
got to go to
Elmo's,
the
yeah,
steakhouse."
jeez.
So I got to find out from
Yeah,
them.
I mean, if they want, they're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I guarantee it. They're good shit, baby.
All right.
Shoot it, baby.
Later.